Man, oh man, oh man, what a week it has been. What's going on, family? Welcome. Thank you for coming back to the house and joining. You know who it is. Yo, Auntie Coy here with another episode of the Young Aunties podcast. We are coming up on these episodes, y'all. I am trying my best to make up for lost time, but quality is always more important than quantity. And as always, you know, we got to check in, see how y'all doing. How's your day? How was your week? You know something happened to Auntie, right? You already know it did. And I'm gonna just say this right now. I really hope and pray that y'all are having a blessed and beautiful day, and that, you know, at the end of the day, if it's not good right now, that God will make a way for you. Okay, so let's just get into some little tea or whatever before we cut to the Auntie report, because, you know, something happened to me this past week or whatever, and honestly, I'm not gonna fault nobody but myself. You feel what I'm saying? Like, wisdom comes with experience and time, and sometimes you just gotta see a different perspective. And it's a situation where it happened once, but it probably won't happen again. And when I say something happened to me, I mean, y'all, I got scammed just trying to support what I thought was a black-owned business on Instagram. So let me I don't know if I want to be petty and put out names. The Lord is working on me, so y'all pray that Auntie don't say the names or whatever. But a woman or a page that was selling waist beads hit me up on Instagram, and I had already been looking through Instagram at different pages of people that I personally knew that made waist beads. And of course, with the algorithm, once you show interest in something, they start showing that bitch everywhere. So I started seeing all these different pages for waist beads, and the bad thing is I know a lot of, especially because of COVID, a huge boom happened in black women-owned businesses, in entrepreneurship, and people really coming together, especially people of color coming together for business, for purpose of creating legacy and changing their financial future and their circumstances. And I'm in support of that. If y'all know me by now, y'all already know. I don't have to say this too much, but y'all already know. Auntie love the black folk. I love us the hard way, and I'm willing to support and throw my coin at quality things based off of quantity. So just to kind of give y'all a quick little cap, because I honestly don't want to waste too much energy on it. Essentially, she scammed me out of $100. So it's like, it wasn't a lot. It was to some people, and had God not blessed me with my situation and my job right now, it would have been a make or break for me, because at one point in time, $100 was a make or break. So we thank God for progress. You feel what I'm saying? If he did it for me, he could do it for you. So I'm not bragging. But at the same time, it was like, I'm glad it was only $100. And on my end, I did everything I could to, one, get my money back. I know y'all probably like, well, Auntie, why didn't you just try and get a refund? I tried. Shorty was telling me she was worried about the reputation of the company, and, you know, how people go around and talk. And I'm like, sis, I worked in customer service for over 10 years. Like, I promise you, I'm still in customer service now. I promise you, I'm not about to go bad mouth. I told y'all, I love black business. I'm not about to go bad mouth, y'all, especially because it's not a bad experience. And at the beginning of the day, she had given me a discount, or there was a discount promotion running. What she said, there was a discount promotion running on these waist beads, where she was giving out, you could buy like 6 waist beads for the price of like $100, and they go for $20 each. And again, I'm thinking, must be the quality. And again, I will pay for quality. So when she said it was like $100 for 6 of them, and then she was throwing in a bonus 7th one or whatever, she sent me pictures. They look gorgeous. I absolutely love the products that I saw, and I had no problem picking the ones I wanted and moving forward with payment, because I just, in other businesses, deals that I've done through Instagram, I see a product that I want, I tell the person that is selling it I want it, I give them my payment information, or they tell me where I can send my money. I send my money, and then in the allotted time, I get my product. I've never had a situation, well, at least not recently, in the last 2.5 years, where I've given somebody my money and I did not get what I was supposed to get. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't pay for shit on Uber Eats and I didn't get my food. And if I didn't get my food, I would get a refund. So that's the beginning of the day. By the mid of the day, or let's say about a week and some change, from the beginning of it, I didn't have all the funds. I didn't have the full $100 when I first started the transaction. And I told her from the beginning, like, you know, I don't have a problem with waiting until I get the money to fully pay you, because I asked her, like, is it an option for payment? And in the beginning, she told me it wasn't. And I was like, all right, cool, bet, no problem. Like, I'll just hit you up when I get the $100. But she was like, but I'll make an exception, da da da. So I'm like, oh, wow. Maybe call me naive, call me dumb, call me slow, whatever. But I'm like, yo, like, that's mad exemplary customer service. Like, I told her in the fucking messages, I was like, yo, you definitely just sealed yourself a customer, because in the world of business, if you set a policy as an entrepreneur, as a product creator, if you have a policy that this is what you have, this is the sale, this is how you're running it, you don't really make exceptions to that, especially as a brand new business. You're not cutting corners for people, and you're not just gonna, like just let everybody get a discount as an up and coming business. And again, Black people, we have the problem of thinking that because we're Black and the people that we're buying from are Black, that we are automatically, or we should be entitled to a discount. When it's like, you don't look for that from anybody else. You don't look for a discount unless a discount is offered. So there's no reason to look for that just because the person selling you the product is Black. So I've never been that type of person. And when she said it was a discount, I just thought, I'm like, oh, I'm catching a steal. Like six waist beads, 7 waist beads that go $20 a pop for $100. Like, I'm catching a deal and look like good quality. Anyway, back and forth with her, telling her, like, at first I had sent the money. So I sent the first $50, right, to one PayPal account. This is important because she gave me like 3 different PayPal accounts, a Cash App, that Cash App rejected. Like, this was a full scam. So, I pay the money or whatever, and we talk about delivery, and I'm not even going to get into the nonsense of how delivery was supposed to work, but we get into delivery, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be expecting a delivery within 2 days, blah, 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 from the day I gave her the first payment. Now, this is back in, like, this is maybe 2-3 weeks ago. Like, this all started, like, May 25th, I want to say. So we talking, yada, like, everything's cool. I'm thinking, like, I bet, gave her my partial, I'm expecting product, this, that, and the third. That day came, didn't get no product. To her up, I'm like, what's going on, this, that, and the third. And she's like, oh, because of how you paid and because you haven't fully received payment, you haven't fully sent in payment, my bad, you haven't fully sent in payment, that, your product didn't go out. Mind you, in the messages, she told me my product was going to go out with my partial payment. So I was like, all right, well, then you know what? Let's just cancel my order. Let me just get my money back and we'll call it a day. And when I get, my money together, I'll hit you up. It's no big deal. Oh no, well, the product is already, like, I guess basically ready to go out for delivery, but it's just waiting for payment. Like, she was just waiting for payment, but it took her over 3 days to get to this conversation, and she didn't initiate it. I did. So now fast forward to last week, I get paid. And I'm like, you know what? Let me pay this. Because I was asking her, I was like, so when can I expect delivery? Blah, 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 blah. And she's like, oh, well, you still haven't sent in the second portion of payment. I was like, bet, you right. So I asked her, I'm like, all right, what was the name of that PayPal? Because bullshit, the account she was originally communicating me off of, the next day after I sent that payment, the next day, all of a sudden, that account, there was issues with her logging into it. So she had to use an alternative account. And I'm like, I bet, no problem. And I'm telling y'all, I got a really big heart for people. Like, I got a really big heart, and it make people play with me sometimes. I'm not playing. So now we getting down, let's say supper time, right? Let's fast forward to this past weekend. And this is where I said, I'm not upset about it. I'm not pressed about it. I'm not hurting over it, because, God does things in order. God does things for a reason. And when I sent my money on Friday through Cash App, because she gave me a Cash App, I put it in through Cash App, and Cash App sent me a message back like, oh, this account has been flagged for fraud and scamming, and if you send your money to this account, you're not going to get a refund. So I canceled that right off rip. I'm like, all right, I'm not even going to play this game with y'all. Then I was like, I'm going to just wait to see if she say anything. I told her I sent it. I was like, I'm going to just wait to see if she say anything about a payment being rejected. Never said nothing to me. So I'm like, I bet it's irrelevant, whatever. Then she gonna say hours later, like 2-3 hours later, oh, the payment didn't go through, yada, yada, yada. So I'm like, all right, cool. So then, because now I'm getting a thought in my mind, thank you, God, because I'm sitting here like, if I really want my money back, I'm gonna have to go through Chase, because I'm not playing with PayPal. Anyway, so now, I'm on the phone or whatever, and I'm like, yo, I'm trying to figure out what I'm missing. Like, I'm trying to understand why this is such a process at this point. So I sent it to another PayPal. Sent it through the PayPal, whatever. She asking me, like, did I send it through family and friends? And I'm like, there was no option for no family and friends. I don't know what that is or whatever. Then we figured out, this was last Friday. Then she was like, oh, your delivery will be in Saturday. Meaning my stuff will be dropped off Saturday. The following fucking day. Same shit she said 2 weeks before. I'm like, all right, cool, copy. Like, I got full payment in. Over the last 2 weeks, you told me that, my stuff was sitting there ready to go out for delivery, whatever. So I'm not thinking nothing of it. Saturday come, and this is where my spiritual senses started tingling. Because randomly, totally random, she started sending me these long-ass messages about the fact that they were at a spiritual retreat, and she had a vision of me while they were praying to the goddess somebody. And at that first sentence, I was just like, nah, I don't want these beads. Like, I don't want these beads, shorty. I was getting the beads, with the whole confidence booster and help you watch your waist, get your body snatched and shit. And it was cute. You feel what I'm saying? But you talk about you had a vision of me and you was praying. I'm not going to ask Jeeves. I'm not going on Google. I'm not looking up who that goddess is or whatever, because automatically, and again, I said this, I went on live today that I'm recording this. I went on live and I said it and I mean it. I'm not coming down on anybody's spiritual religious practices or whatever you do or you believe in, whoever you pray to. I'm not coming down on you. I serve the one and only true God. I serve the one and only living God. There's no goddess. There's nobody else that you can pray to that can top my God. Period. End of story. End of discussion. My God created the universe. God created the universe. So again, so when I saw that, I can't lie to y'all. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I automatically started praying. I started praying and I was like, you know what, Lord? Because I had the right intentions. And usually sometimes when we lead with the best of intentions and we're not met with that, we take on the guilt like, oh, damn, like I should have known better. It's like, no. I led with the best intentions. My heart was in the right place. God have mercy on them. And the $100 they took from me, almost positive can guarantee it, God is going to double that. So I'm really not pressed about it. I'm really not stressing over it. I really just wanted to let y'all know what happened to your auntie over the last week. And now that is on out of the way, I'm changing up that theme song every time. It is time for your auntie report. So let's just jump on into this because there is a topic at hand I do want to talk about at length, just a little bit, just a tad, just a touch, just because I'm going to get there. So anyways, first things first, I know y'all heard about this. There ain't no way y'all didn't hear about this, about the Indian bride who died of a heart attack at her wedding. And then her sister married the groom with her body in the next room. I'm not making this up. This is no cap. A bride was getting married on her wedding day. She had a heart attack and died. And then her sister still married her husband while her dead body was in the room, like the next room over. Let's just read this article from USA Today, shall we? So the article says, in a series of unfortunate events, a groom married the sister of his bride after she collapsed and died earlier in the wedding ceremony. The incident happened in Uttar Pradesh, India, when a woman named, I don't want to get the lady name wrong, Sarabahi, and a man named Mangesh Kumar were tying the knot in a Hindu ceremony on May 27th, Times of India reported. During the Jaimala, the exchanging of garlands by the bride and the groom in an Indian wedding, the bride collapsed and a doctor was called to treat her after she suffered a heart attack. After the doctor pronounced the bride dead, the families of the bride and groom agreed that the bride's younger sister, Nisha, would wed the groom. In India, the majority of marriages are arranged, an estimated 90%. So this is very important. I want us to take our American standards, our American bygones and bylaws and structures of what we feel about marriage and our European and Eurocentric ideas that were forced upon us through colonization. And I found a really interesting video the other day that really had made me reevaluate my morals and my standards and where I got those things from. Not in a sense of questioning my core of who I am, but the things that I solicit and submit to that really were forced upon me, like ideas about monogamy and polygamy and stuff like that, especially relevant to my culture, because there's certain things that were forced upon us, those of us that are minorities, those of us that are descendants of minorities of color, people of color. We were forced to assimilate to certain standards and things that we, in our cultures, didn't agree with, didn't submit to. Not for nothing, the European version of Christianity was not the original version of Christianity that even in Africa we practiced before they came. So it was like, yes, some people will say like the Christian or Christianity is not the African's religion, but at the end of the day, there were Africans, there were tribes, there were countries in Africa who were Christians, who celebrated, who were absolute Christians, and they existed prior to. So but that's that. But there are certain cultural things that just don't tie well with. So I just want us to just separate our idea and be like, oh my God, I can't believe that the groom really sat there and married his bride's sister. You got to remember, there's a bunch of things going on in the background about how they wed weddings, how they arrange them. There's a dowry to consider. There's family lines to consider. There's ties to consider. Like, they consider a lot more than just love and oh, I want to be with you forever and all this other bullshit that we have been allowed to think is what marriage should be based upon, and it's really not. But let's keep in the article. Radha Patel, founder of South Asian matchmaking site Single to Shadi, said it's likely the families arranged for the sister to marry the groom because they wanted to keep it in the family. Patel said her mother was in a similar situation when her aunt died in childbirth, and there was an idea for her mother to marry her brother-in-law. So much vetting goes into matching families and marriages, and it is natural for the families to want to stay together. So again, the families, this is not something that we practice. At least I can say in the Black culture, this is not something that we practice. Our families are not invested in the matchmaking of who we end up with. At least per culture and per what society says, our families are not concerned. They're not invested. They only care after the child is here or when there's a wedding and now everybody want to be family, everybody want to come together. But the families themselves are not that invested. During the dating or courting period, of course, you get to learn your partner's family, but the families themselves are not personally invested. So let's say I'm in a relationship with somebody and, my sister, I not even God forbid, but when I die, my sister, she is there. And it's like, well, whether we had an arranged marriage or not, maybe my sister don't like him. She don't know him. In our culture, she wouldn't have to marry him because it wouldn't make no sense. It'd be like, well, the marriage, the engagement, that possibility died with me. Not for them. So, because again, so much vetting, they're backtracking, they're investing time and resources into making sure that this is a union for our families. They're not just considering the two people getting married. Like, family is legacy. You have to be aware of who you're laying down with. And I promise that's probably more relevant to the talk topic that we have today than anything. So let's put a pin in that, but let's keep reading. Her mother was unmarried and young, but her parents accepted her denial of the idea. In the case of the Uttar Pradesh wedding, the families decided to go ahead with the ceremony while Sir Abi's body laid in another room. It was a bizarre situation as the wedding of my younger sister took place while the dead body of my other sister was lying in another room, told the bride's brother. It says that, oh my goodness, where'd the rest of my article go? It says that Indian matchmaking raises questions in regard to arranged marriages. And going on in the article, it kind of finishes off with saying, we have never witnessed such mixed emotions. Sarabi's the bride's uncle, Ajab Singh, told News 18, the grief over her death and the happiness of the wedding has to yet sink in. So that's important, you guys. Like, they're grieving and they're also celebrating. So I think that's important. And my prayers are absolutely... What am I dropping? Hold on, y'all. I'm just dropping stuff. My prayers are absolutely going to the family, and even from my little old place in Jersey to the family in India, because I cannot imagine being put in the position to celebrate and mourn at the same time. But scripture says, joy comes in the morning. I just feel like Jesus, that's Jesus. But moving on to our next order of business. An article came out on, I want to say this is CBS. Y'all know I love me a good CBS article of a mom who posed as her daughter to sneak into a Texas middle school was arrested. Now, I know COVID has a lot of us pulling at straws and pulling our hairs out to figure out what we can do. How do we entertain ourselves? How do we keep our minds alive? And a lot of people also are trying to do things to make a name for themselves. I'm not entirely too sure anymore if people are really recording or behaving in ways because they believe in the principle of what they say they stand on, or if people are really just trying to make a name for themselves and trying to become famous overnight. Because I see so much on Instagram and Facebook. I'm like, there's no way this could possibly be real. Like, this has to be staged. Somebody had to concoct this. This is not, you know what I mean? So, and this is a situation where I absolutely believe this mother, we all hear the reason, she needs something better to do. Shorty need a job. She needs to sell somebody necklaces on QVC or something. But let's read the article. A Texas mother who said she posed as her daughter to sneak into middle school to expose security flaws was arrested Friday. Casey Garcia was arrested in connection with the 2017 traffic violation and booked on additional charges of criminal trespass and tampering with a government document. According to El Paso County Jail records, her bond for the 3 charges was set at nearly $8,000, and she was released later Friday. Garcia on Wednesday posted a video to YouTube showing her entering Ann M. Garcia Enriquez Middle School and attending her daughter's classes, wearing a hoodie, a mask, and thick black glasses. Now, real quick, I'm not sure if this is the type of experiment, because we're going to get to that. She did it as a social experiment to show the flaws in the security system of the school. I'm not sure if that shows the security flaws or if that shows lack of awareness from the fucking supervising adults that were there. Because if you see a child that's dressed in a hoodie, a mask, and thick black glasses, one, it's fucking El Paso, Texas. Why the fuck is you in a hoodie? Number one. Number two, why are you wearing thick glasses that everybody can see are not prescription? As an adult, and if you think that is a child, shouldn't you walk over to that child and make sure they're okay? If they're sitting by themselves, they're not talking to nobody, not doing nothing. Like, not for nothing, but we remember those kind of kids, and we had to grow up. I don't know about nobody else, but my high school absolutely had gun and metal detectors. Every day for 4 years, I had to get patted down and scanned with a wand and had to drop all my stuff on the table, slide my stuff through. They had to check my bag. I had to walk through a metal detector. I couldn't wear a belt, earrings, necklace, none of that. Had to put stuff in my book bag. What the fuck? I grew up like my high school was a jail. You understand? So I don't know. We literally had a police, like, small station in our high school. Maybe it's because I grew up in the hood and I went to high school in the hood that these are just certain precautions that they did. But even after all these school shooting incidents, that's just because my school was violent. You feel what I'm saying? But school shootings, the Columbine incident, the Sandy Hook incidents, these schools automatically ramped up the metal detectors and the security. So I don't understand how at fucking Ann M. Garcia Enriquez Middle School, y'all saw somebody coming in there with a hoodie on, glasses, and a mask, and you ain't think to tap that child on the shoulder and make sure they was all right. Moving on. The mom, who says she is 30, said in a video that she greeted the school's principal and other staff members, ate lunch without her mask on, and made it to the last period before anyone noticed she was not, in fact, her 13-year-old daughter. Again, not entirely sure if it's a security issue or lack of awareness from the supervising adults, but let's keep going. The video amassed more than 270,000 views, with some commenters criticizing the school's staff for not paying attention, and others accusing Garcia of attempting a creepy stunt for video. On Thursday, Garcia took to YouTube again. See what I'm saying? I don't know if you really believe in your cause, ma'am, or you just trying to get the views, but go be great, sis. She said to defend herself, she had embarked on the social experiment to prove a point. This is what her quote is. "We need better security at our schools. This is what I tried to prove," Garcia said. "I kind of feel like I proved it." "There have been one too many mass shootings," she added, arguing that schools should have metal detectors and possibly ban backpacks. Ma'am, what year are you in? Where have you been? Where were you? For real talk. Where were you 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 8 years ago? Where the fuck were you at when the backpack ban was going on? When we had to wear fucking clear book bags. Clear see-through fucking book bags because they didn't trust what kids were bringing in school. Where the fuck were you at? Is something going on? Is there like a bubble of protection over fucking El Paso, Texas, and she wasn't fucking aware? Because you sit here talking about all these mass shootings. Bitch, we haven't had a mass shooting at a school in over 2.5, 3 years. Motherfucker, COVID. What the fuck you mean you doing a social experiment? What are you talking about? How is this a social experiment? Post-COVID, post-pandemic, you think somebody child? Do you really think somebody child is going to walk up in a school post-pandemic and start shooting motherfuckers? They ain't been in school all year. Ain't no beef with bullies. What bullies? What bullies? Everybody want to go outside. Ain't no bully. Anyway, because this just made me so mad. Oh, Garcia says she purposely didn't name the school and hadn't wanted to call its staff out specifically, but hoped to show that security is lacking at most schools. She said the staff at the school were too preoccupied with asking her to put away her phone and tending to remote students to realize she was an adult. "I mean, I'm no spring chicken," Garcia said, "but it wasn't hard, and I made it all 7 periods. Garcia's jail records show she is under 5 feet tall and weighs 105 pounds. Ma'am, you are a fucking child. Are you dead ass? You are under 5 foot tall and you weigh 105 pounds. You are a child. I wouldn't have thought you weren't a fucking adult either. That's no shade. I'm sorry. If you are a legal small person, if any of my soon-to-be followers or listeners now, if you are a small person, from my heart, I mean no offense. But this woman is physically statured as a child, and you sitting here telling me you tried a social experiment to see if anybody would notice and you needed to talk about fucking security, and you're under 5 feet and 105 pounds. You know who couldn't pull that shit off? Me. You know how tall I am? Baby, I'm 5'4.5" and sitting at a solid 235. You understand what I'm saying? I would not have been able. I am shaped like a grown-ass woman. I sound like a grown-ass woman. I walk like a grown-ass woman. And even if I don't, or I go out of my way to look like a homeless-ass man, I look like a homeless grown-ass man or a young teenage boy. I could never look like a 13-year-old. And I'm 26. And my skin is fucking good. So, sis, I don't know how the fuck you thought this shit was supposed to prove a point when at the end of the day, you're probably 4'8" and you're 105. I want to know, what is the height and weight of an average 13-year-old? 13-year-old little girl. Because she sound fucking stupid. In an email to parents that San Elizario Independent School District Superintendent Janine Meza-Chavez shared with NBC News on Monday, she said that while there was a breach in security, all of our students are safe. An individual associated as a parent with the school was involved in the incident and posted a video regarding the situation. "I want to reassure you that our security measures are being reviewed and evaluated not only at the school where the incident occurred, but all schools and facilities in the district," Meza-Chavez wrote. She told parents that the district had contacted authorities and would be pursuing a legal case, as they fucking should, as well as any other options available to address the issue. Garcia recorded police approaching her house Friday and posted the video on YouTube. In it, she told police she was recording and repeatedly informed that she was not resisting arrest. Did you guys see the video? She asked officers. One said he has not. So I posed as a 7th grader, Garcia tells the officers, and it went viral. Garcia did not immediately return NBC's request for comment. Hold on one second. So that just answered my own question, didn't it? Obviously, Shorty was not doing this to prove a point about safety. She wasn't doing this to prove anything about security. She was not. For the fact that you're getting arrested, she a nutcase. I'ma pray for for real. You're getting arrested for what she did was illegal. Let's be clear. Her posing as a student, as a child in a school was extremely illegal. As a parent of a child at the school, the fact that most parents, when they come to school, they let the school know they there for their kid. No parent is showing up at their kid's school because other parents gotta work, got shit to do. You have too much time on your hand, ma'ams. Ma'ams, yes, it's ma'ams. You have way too much time on your hands. You're 4'8", you're 105 pounds. They probably believed you were 10 years old. They probably didn't even think you were a 13-year-old child. They probably didn't talk to you, and they only told you to get off your phone because anybody trying to be beat with a mini teenager. All right? Nobody got the time for you. You did this as a stunt. You did this to get publicity. You did this to try and get some fame on YouTube. You got desperate. And not for nothing, but y'all white folk, I don't understand the lengths y'all will go to get you some notoriety is ridiculous. And when you got black people out here, black women out here just working hard, busting their ass, and just being the GOAT at everything they do, such as the GOAT as we know her to be, Miss Simone Biles is now the woman with the most U.S. gymnastics titles. Can we just, for a second? Yes, Simone is the GOAT. Always has been the GOAT. Always will be the GOAT. Will forever have the GOAT stamped on her forehead. You understand what I'm saying? I got an article from Bazaar. I think this is Harper's Bazaar. That's what they're called. Hold on. Yeah, Harper's Bazaar. All right, y'all. So before I even get started on this, just let me tell you, I started this at work, and we are now at my house, and I am sitting outside because I like to sit outside instead of in my room. So if you hear noise, sirens, cars passing, people talking, I live in the hood. But we back, and we is full effect. As I was saying, the GOAT, the only GOAT that we recognize, Miss Simone Biles, according to Harper's Bazaar, is now the woman with the most U.S. gymnastic titles. When I saw this on Facebook, I can't tell y'all how happy it made me when I watched her do that move that she did. And Simone, honestly, since she first, hold on, see, look. See what I'm saying? When she first came on the scene and the media was giving her all that nonsense, trying to take away from the fact that the girl is godly talented and gifted at gymnastics, trying to focus on her hair and trying to make it a thing, I remember being yo, Simone is that chick. And over the years, just her growing and empowering herself. I've never been into gymnastics, as an athlete, but the sport I think is a beautiful sport. I think it's both a feminine and powerful sport. And I think that gymnasts are some of the truest athletes in the world. I don't take at all for granted or play it small their level of dedication, focus, conditioning, discipline. Simone is the GOAT for so many reasons. And when her and the other young ladies represented the U.S. in the Olympics and she walked away with all them, she is literally just one history-making machine. And let's read the article because I'm excited about this. The article says, four-time Olympic gold medalist Simone Biles earned her 7th national women's all-around title for gymnastics over the weekend, securing her the most titles of any American woman gymnast. The United States Gymnastics Championships concluded on Sunday in Fort Worth, Texas, where Biles took home the top prize with a score of 119.650 points, ahead of runner-up Sunisa Lee with 114.950 points, and fellow teammate and third-place winner Jordan Chiles with 114.450 points. She won 3 of the 4 events in the competition. She won 3 of the 4 events in the competition with a comfortable winning margin of 4.7 points, meaning she kept a margin between herself and the other competitors of 4.7 points. She put on, I believe this is Twitter, it's a quote, "We came out here and we did what we were supposed to do." She said as she retweeted that the announcement that she was now the 7-time U.S. all-around champion. Biles has dominated the world of gymnastics for 8 years, winning every all-around competition she's entered since 2013. Her easy win this past weekend was in large part thanks to her 4 dazzling routines, one of which included a historical move known as the Yurchenko double pike that prior female gymnasts have had yet to attempt in competition. I remember watching this video of this black figure skater, and one of my listeners, y'all let me know what... See, this is the ignorance of the hood. Why can I hear your bass before I see your car? And the car I see ain't worth the bass that's coming. You understand? Ghetto. But she performed a move, like I was saying, my bad. Lost train of thought for a second, came back. The black female skater. I need somebody to put in, somebody let me know, slide in aunty DMs, let me know. What was the name of the black female skater that actually performed an illegal move because of how dangerous it was, but she successfully did it? And I think she was like the only person, the only woman, and the only woman of color to actually do it. Y'all let me know who that was because, oh my gosh, this is just so delicious. Debuted by Biles at the GKUS Classic preceding Nationals last month, the move involves 2 straight-legged backflips in the air, launched by a round-off back handspring, which requires perilous amounts of momentum, speed, and strength. The champion gymnast has previously performed other moves that went down in history, with 4 elements officially taking her name after her in the women's artistic... Hold on. Let me turn my page. You hear the page? Trying to get it. I lick my finger. Y'all know that old-fashioned lick the finger so it stick. Okay. With 4 elements officially taking her name in the women's artistic gymnastics code of points, 1 for vault, 1 for balance beam, and 2 for floor exercises. Following this competition, the Yurchenko double pike saw speculation over its own place on this Biles dedicated list, in addition to its difficulty score of a 6.6, which some deemed too low given the move's arguable difficulty level relative to other so-called standard competing stunts. Biles is quoted in saying that she said, "I feel like I did try to enjoy it because it could be one of my last championships that I'll attend." She also shared, "But it's also the road to Tokyo, and after this we have trials, so we just have to really embrace the moment." But Simone is not the only GOAT that we are recognizing in this pasture today, children. Niece, nephew, come on in. Do y'all know who Flojo is? Do y'all have any idea? Look her up. That's your assignment. Because Mama Flojo, Madame Flojo, has been beaten out by a Jamaican sprinter named Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce, who runs the world's fastest women's 100-meter sprint since Florence Griffith Joyner. So the article talks about, and I got this article, I think it was BET. Let me not lie to y'all. I'll find out. But y'all know my articles is all credible. The article says Olympic champion sprinter. So she an Olympian too. Olympic champion sprinter Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce scored the world's fastest women's 100 meters in nearly 33 years over the weekend, casting her name among the favorites to pick up a gold medal in Tokyo next month. Fraser-Pryce is a two-time champion in the 100 meters, clocked in a blazing time of 10.63 seconds at a meet in Kingston, Jamaica on Saturday. NBC Sports, this is where I got it from, NBC Sports. That time is the fourth best in history, behind times set by legendary runner Florence Griffith Joyner, who's posted records of 10.49, 10.63, and 10.62, each in 1988. Okay, so she didn't replace Mama Flo. Excuse me, Mama Flo. She didn't replace Mama Flo. She is like the fourth fastest woman in the world to do it. She's right behind Mama Flo. Let's give homage proper. My bad. But all kudos to Mama Fraser-Pryce. Sis, 10.63 seconds. I can't even move from my bedroom to my bathroom in 10 seconds. So you ran 100 meters in 10 seconds. You fast, sis. You fast. She's quoted by saying, coming out here today, I never expected I would run 10.6, and I think that's a good thing because there was no pressure. I just wanted to get one run in before national championships, and that's what I was looking forward to. She said post the race press conference according to the Washington Post, I'm at a loss for words because 10.6 has been a dream, a goal. I've been working so hard, been so patient, and to see it finally unfold, I'm just ecstatic. Well, we are ecstatic for you, sis. Congrats on your win. And that, my dears, brings us to the end of our auntie report. Actually, I'm lying to you. Oh my gosh, auntie got a bonus. Auntie got a bonus report in here before we get to the talk topic. Oh, all right, real quick. No. I'm gonna save it. I'm not gonna talk about it this one. I'm not gonna talk about this one because, like I said in the beginning, I really wanted to have a decent discussion about the talk topic because I was really thinking about it, and I was like, I'm not a parent. I have a cat. I'm a cat mom, but I do not have any human children. And I know that in our Black community, a huge thing that we go through is single momhood. And this, a lot of women, I feel like a lot of Black women don't want to be alone, don't want to have to support themselves, don't want to have to go through certain things by themselves. And if one partner doesn't work out, they will roll in another one. And it's just observation. But the thought of consideration to the implication of the children isn't really given serious thought, essentially. So an article came out on our lovely, beloved Madame Noir, and it's in regard to the relationship status between Mimi Faust, and it's a comment from her ex, Ty Young, who said, "You're too free with just letting anyone in your house." Ty Young addresses Mimi Faust's new alleged relationship. Now, again, like I said, I do not have children. So this is a question to everybody before we read the article. And we're going to answer it after we read the article. But how soon is too soon to introduce a new partner to your children or your child after you've just gotten out of a relationship? Now, in this previous relationship, your child did know your partner and knew your ex-partner very well. And now you guys are over. And so now you've moved on and you are now thinking of bringing in a new partner. When do you do that? How do you gauge when is the right time? Do you give your child time to heal? Do you give your child a conversation about, how are we addressing this? Because I almost feel like Ty may have a point, but let's read it before I get too ahead of myself. So the article says, when we learned that Mimi Faust and Ty Young had called off their engagement, we didn't exactly know what type of breakup it would be. After all, Love and Hip Hop cast members aren't exactly known for keeping it classy as their relationships fall apart. Y'all not saying no tea, no shade. It's all true. But then Mimi wished Ty much success in her new relationship, saying she deserved to be happy. I remember thinking, wow, how lovely. Apparently, though, the tides have turned, or Young, who hadn't said much about the breakup, is showing her true feelings about all of this. Recently on her Instagram stories, Ty shared an interesting video of Mimi roller skating around her house with the woman who is allegedly her new boo. Before Mimi can clearly be seen in the shot, the new woman pushes her out of the frame. According to Ty, the woman in Mimi's house sent her the video via direct message. Okay. Now, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I do not entertain the world of love and hip hop outside of conversation for potentially transforming commentary, because their morals and their amoral values and all the bullshit that they say is love, and nobody's really about hip hop on that show. I cannot actually stomach it, and my brain has a hard time trying to make sense of it. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ty was exaggerating. However, in what I did see on Love and Hip Hop, like some compilations I watched about Mimi and Ty's relationship, when things went left between Ty and Stevie J, Ty was I respected Ty. I liked how she handled it. She was very respectable. She didn't get out of pocket. She didn't, you know what I mean? But people on TV look a certain way and act a certain way because they know they're on TV. So if this is potentially her airing out her real feelings and all this other good stuff, this is interesting. But I wouldn't be surprised either, because with that world comes a lot of fucking drama. So I would not be surprised in the slightest bit if this new woman actually did send Ty this fucking video in her DMs. That's petty. So the article says Ty must have not taken too kindly to that, because she used the opportunity to discuss the new girl's actions and also shame Mimi for being too trusting when it comes to letting people in her home. In the text included on the video, Ty wrote, "I told you mad long ago, you're too free with just letting anyone in your house." Shaking my head, she added Mimi, "but I was too protective." Shrug emoji. "Now your new boo DM me her recording from a fake page because she's excited to be there in the crib. At least she tried to push you out the recording." Crying laughing emoji. Afterward, Young shared a couple of classic breakup quotes to her story. The first read, "You deserve to be happy, but if it's not with me, never mind, LOL." And the second, "Loyalty over love, we gonna keep it real first." Well, this is in direct contradiction to the well wishes Mimi had for Ty and her new relationship. Young eventually deleted the post, but not before the Neighborhood Talk had a chance to grab the screenshots. And the new lady in Mimi's life responded to Ty's Instagram story with a message of her own. And this was the message. At Ty Young 11. "It saddens me to see how things turn out like this on social media. Unfortunately, I'm not here for the drama or dramatics. Allegedly, you are inaccurate. I do not condone in such classless, tasteless, immature, ignorant, and low vibrational behaviors. Whoever that is that created a fake page and made it their business to send you that video has it out for you, not me. That video was not from my life, and it was not my phone, FYI. Let's make that clear, okay? Trigger your energy somewhere else, not here, okay? I wish nothing but positive vibes, higher vibrations, peace, prosperity, and abundance to you on your end, ... Good day. #bless up queen." The article says, "I agree with Ty in the sense that someone shouldn't be recording video in your home for the purpose of taunting your ex with it. That's childish and certainly seems like someone who wouldn't have your best interests at heart in the long run. But if you're the new woman in Mimi's life, why do you have to prove anything to Ty, her ex?" Still, as far as we know, Young is also involved in a relationship of her own, and I have to wonder what her partner thinks of Young devoting so much time and energy to Mimi's business. We'll be on the lookout to see what happens with this love ... square. And you know what? That is a really good question. You know, when you break up with somebody, I feel like when you break up with somebody, you take your time that you need to heal. See, people problem is they like to go and be petty about a lot of stuff. Like, people will be like, oh, when you get off one bus, just get on the next one. Like, you know, just the way to get over an old man is to get under a new one. And people don't really take the actual time that they need to heal, to process, to go through the emotions, to cry, to grieve the relationship, to be angry. They don't do these things, and then they just move on and get into another relationship. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some people who can move on quickly, and they hold no emotional baggage or any difficulty with moving on to a relationship, and they don't bring the traumas of their old relationship into the new one. And I feel like those people are exceptions to the rule, not the rule. And I say that because, you know, I agree with the article. I'm wondering, like, Ty, okay, at the end of the day, you and Mimi are no longer together. So who she has in her house and who she has around her children and her child does not concern Ty Young. You may have a love for her daughter. You built a relationship with her daughter. You were overly protective. And there could be a possibility that you were too protective, too strict, too not trusting. That you maybe assumed the worst of people before you got a chance to really know people. But if I was your new partner, I might be a tight hot with the fact that you give so much the fuck about what your ex is doing on social media. You understand? And again, like I said, the exaggerations, the going over the top, the dramatics, this is all in the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta world, Love and Hip Hop world, period. Real life. In reality TV world, they will do any and everything for people to be relevant, for people to boost views, all kind of stuff. All kind of stuff. So either way, you know, my question is still solid. I still have that as a question. Like, if you are in a relationship or you break up out of a relationship with somebody and you have children, and this child, like, I think about Moniece Slaughter. I love Moniece. I think Moniece's character, you know, the Lord is working on her, but I can respect Moniece, the principles that some of the principles that she rock with. And I've thought about that, you know, just thinking about it, I was like, because, you know, Moniece's thing back in the day was that Drew's partners didn't respect her as the mother of his son. They didn't respect her. But it was like, what kind of respect are you looking for as his ex primarily, and then as the mother of his child? Because no woman in a new relationship sees the baby mama as the mother. She sees the baby mama as the ex first and then the mother. So what kind of respect are you looking for? Like, what are you getting at? But then you are having it's the same thing. You're also having multiple people or partners around your son or able to influence your son. And it's not okay just because Drew is the man and you're the woman. You know what I mean? Like, women, sometimes we can play into misogynistic views and things and we don't even realize it, like, where we want shit to be okay for us because men can do it. And it's like, but it shouldn't be okay for you to do it because men can do it, because it shouldn't be okay for men to do it all the time just because they can do it. But at the same token, you feel me? My question is also to the men. Like, men, if you and the mother of your child were together, y'all break up, how soon after, even if you don't have primary custody of the child, mothers that also don't have primary custody of their children, how soon are you introducing your new partner to your children? Because these two, Ty and Mimi, were engaged. There was some relationship breakdown somewhere along the way, and they broke off the engagement. I'm not somebody that's like, oh, if you engage, stay engaged. Like, no, bitch, if you engage and the engagement ain't working, the marriage probably won't. So cut and run while you can, or go seek some fucking therapy. But Ty, y'all broke up. I get it. I guess that Ty obviously is not over Mimi. She's not over their relationship. She's probably not over the connection she had to Mimi's daughter. Truth be told, I feel like some people get strongly connected to the children than they do the person they're in the relationship with. So when they break up, because I remember it with AD and Moniece. Like, I can't help but think about this example with AD and Moniece. When Moniece and AD broke up, AD was still trying to figure out some way, shape, or form to be involved in Moniece's son's life. And it's like, well, why? For what? Like, yeah, you were around for the last 2 years, but we're not together anymore. So I can respect, you like, and especially if as two adults, we're not in the place where I can be mature enough to say, you know what, I see the connection you have with my child. It doesn't mean we have to have that same, deep, intimate connection for you to keep a connection to my child. But respectfully, I do not want to confuse my child into thinking that they just keep connections with people that mommy is no longer connected to, especially if something happened between me and that person that I don't want my child connected to them. And as the mother or the primary parent, the respect should be as the parent, this is why. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like I said, I wanted to kind of talk about it at length, but at the same token, once I started talking about it, I was like, there's not really much length to talk about it because I don't have kids. But if I were to give my opinion from a hypothetical standpoint, and purely, absolutely hypothetical, if I was in a relationship with someone, or I had a child, period. Let's just say I had a kid. And my partner and I are together. And whatever happens, we break up. Now, let's say they've been in my child's life for, birth to 3 years old. If that is the case in scenario and me and that person don't work out, of course I'm going to want them to stay in my child's life because they're the only connection, like a father figure, that my child would have up to date. You know what I mean? But if you come into my life and my child's life at a point where they're not, in this state where they don't know who their biological parent is, I'm not rushing to have you meet, like, especially if me and my partner or their parent, broke up, like, it's not even 6 months. Like, I don't know. I feel like 3 months might be too soon. Even with just dating, not even with reintroducing nobody, even just dating, bro. Like, when you about to start out there dating, like, how long before you introducing people to your kids? Because the people I know, stories I know, women I know, knew, there wasn't a lot of time in between one breakup to the next man. And that was concerning to me because I'm just like, are we not concerned about the psychological welfare of the child and what this might be impressing upon them to see their mother or their father with multiple women or multiple men? You know what I mean? Like, that's not their biological parent. I don't know. But I'm going to leave it up to y'all, family, because I really ain't got no more. I promise you that's really all that I have. Thank y'all so much, as always, for pulling up to the house when you know your auntie is around. I appreciate you for continuously showing up. You have no idea how much I love y'all and adore you for supporting and staying around. And any topics in particular that y'all ever want me to talk about, please bother me. Slide in my DMs. They're empty. They're dark. They need some light. They need some pings from my nieces and nephews. Check in. Let me know how you doing, how you feeling. And if you want advice on something, I don't know. Maybe we can have a conversation where you talk to auntie and you say what's up with auntie, because auntie got some stuff in the works for y'all. So y'all make sure next time auntie pull up, y'all pull up. I'm gonna let y'all go. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a blessed one. Do your best to make it, a better day if you haven't had the best of days, because it's gonna get better, because joy does come in the morning. It does. All right, y'all, I love y'all. Deuces.